Yeah, I remember that well. I was the branch manager of a brokerage in the West Midlands. About 20 members of staff, a pretty diverse book of fairly traditional commercial business and some personal lines. Because we're in the West Midlands, we had some fairly heavy industrial stuff and also quite a big leisure and licensed trade book. But fairly typical of a lot of regional brokerage offices at the time. Had a prolonged soft market, or what we thought at that time was a prolonged soft market, and although the hard market had been talked up a lot for years, in fact, it was never really happening in any serious way. And then I remember, we had a few things. Independent failed, and that was a real moment. And then we had 9/11, and the dam broke, and there was I remember a very sudden shift in the hardening of the market from a soft market where business was really easy to place, to something where insurers were just basically shutting up shop. A very, very hard line on terms and premiums, and it was basically take it or leave it. With a lot of our clients, there was conversations, 20%, 30%, 40% increases on relatively claim-free business. That was really common. And some very, very difficult meetings with customers where, particularly in high-risk stuff or poorly performing stuff, it was worse than that. And on the other side, we were incredibly busy marketing all of this stuff, usually for no purpose. But on the other side, we were getting loads of new business opportunities. Never had so many new business inquiries of people who had suddenly got these high renewal terms and they were wanting alternative quotes. But the other side of that was there was nowhere to place them. There was no insurer that would take them on. There was no better price. So it was all a lot of futile marketing going on. Although our guys at that time had all experienced a hard market before and had some idea of what to do, it was still hard going. Nobody had really experienced a hard market quite that severe and sudden. But I think, look, the premium volatility is only part of it. What I really remember about that was quite a sharp pulling back on cover and a massive tightening of policy wordings. And all that stuff's still with us. At that time, restrictive conditions and warranties, you would see those in London Market or Lloyd's policies. You wouldn't really see them as mainstream, and they're completely mainstream now. Policy wordings are a whole lot tighter than they were, and a lot of cover get written out, and you get the big tide of the premium, and that's what everybody talks about. But when that tide subsides, all this other stuff's left behind. And I think a lot of people that just kind of stuck up on a lot of people, and a lot realised that was happening, and it's never really gone away. And that I see some of that happening again. In terms of similarities, yeah, lots of similarities. Again, a very protracted soft market. You can see loss ratios coming under pressure. Maybe for different reasons this time. We have had some failures, mainly sort of offshore insurers or small entrants in taxi markets and that kind of thing, where people are trying to make money in difficult markets and find out that they can't. But so far, the really big stories have been sectoral. So obvious things like professional indemnity, especially construction. We're seeing it to some extent in D&O. Insurance brokers, professional indemnity, and where it's happened, it has been really severe, and you're seeing both those things of swinging increases in premium, and sometimes some fairly major reductions in cover and insurers stepping back. But that, as I say, mainly sectoral. We haven't really seen it hit bog standard property and casualty business yet. That is hardening, but in a much more gentle and predictable manner for standard good running business. So I do see some parallels, but obviously big differences. The main difference is obviously we've had a global pandemic, that's actually put some pressure in another direction. That's given some insurers a fairly benign year on claims. So, loss ratios will actually have recovered a little bit as a result of some of that. But what happens when we bounce back? The claims bounce back. What does that post-COVID economy look like? And I don't think we really know yet what happens next. But all the pressures for a hard market, claims performance, climate change, Solvency II, Ogden rates, all of that stuff's still there in the background. None of that has gone anywhere. So I think that hard market continues. I think communicate well with the clients. That's number one. And always is. But tell them what's happening. Don't be afraid if you give them some bad news that they're going to start shopping around. They've always got that right anyway. Be honest. Be open. Tell them what's happening. But whatever you do, don't sneak up on them with bad news 2 days before renewal, because they'll remember you for it. And if you know you've got a difficult case coming, start early. And whatever you think early is now, start earlier than that. And be smart with your broking. Remember, underwriters don't get paid to do quotes, they get paid to write business. And their appetite is going to be tight. So get on the phone, build relationships, see where the opportunities are, and make sure underwriters have got a proper opportunity. If a helpful underwriter really is gold dust, so don't use and abuse them. And I think finally, know your products, get right into the bones of the cover, and don't just make recommendations on price alone. If you give a customer the full facts, you might be surprised by how well they react. But I think what insurance broking firms should be doing for their younger account execs, and when I say younger, I mean nobody under the age of 45 has experienced this before. But I think what firms should be doing is giving their execs not just training, but giving them proper mentors, proper company or industry sponsors to help them through this, because this is a totally new set of skills. And if young account execs can develop these skills quickly, there's a huge opportunity for them, a huge opportunity for them, and a huge opportunity for their firms. And I think if insurance broking businesses don't see that, then they're going to miss out on that opportunity.